You're listening to Peterborough's community radio, Salaam Radio. Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Good evening and welcome to the Tech Factor, live on Salaam Radio, where we untangle the world of technology so you don't have to nod along pretending you understand it first time. I'm Akil, your host for the next hour. Now, normally I'd say I'm joined by my co-host Joel, but describing Joel a bit, it's like reviewing beta software. He's reliable most of the time, occasionally produces unexpected results, and somehow he insists on running the sessions in beta mode. He's the one and only man I know who can turn a simple tech explanation into a 12-part documentary with bonus commentary. But to be fair, when things get complicated, he's exactly who you want in the room. So yes, Joel is here, somewhere between genius and buffering.
What an introduction, thank you.
What an introduction.
So 60% of the time I work 100% of the time, that's what we're saying.
Absolutely. How are you?
Very good, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much. It's good to be back.
It is, there's been lots of life getting in the way, religious holidays, sicknesses, things like that. But since we have been away and then come back, wow, hasn't the world changed? But I think we'll leave those politics for other shows.
Yes, but you know what? It's also changed for the tech as well. I mean, so much has happened. We've unfortunately missed, for example, the Samsung Unpacked event. We've got loads of things to talk about. I'm sure we'll catch up as the episodes continue. But isn't it great to be back, eh?
Yeah, this show could go on all night if we wanted it to catch up on absolutely everything. There's just so much happened in the world of tech.
It's true. So on tonight's show, we are asking a big question. AI slop. Is artificial intelligence ruining creativity or just exposing who never had much to begin with? And later, humanity prepares to head back to the moon with NASA's Artemis 2 mission. We'll break down the technology, the risks, and why this matters more than ever. So let's get into it. The phrase AI slop has exploded recently. It's used to describe low-quality, mass-produced content generated using artificial intelligence. What we're talking about here is endless recycled social media posts, generic AI artwork, articles that say a lot without actually saying anything. And to be fair, Joel did try using AI to write his shopping list. It came back with a business strategy and 3 inspirational quotes. Let's go into this then, Joel. AI slop.
Yeah, so I have brought my soapbox with me tonight, so I think I'll be standing firmly on that. Now, interestingly, I love new words and new phrases and things, and AI slop's definitely a contender for sort of word of the year for 2026. The other word as well that's joined it recently is something called slopaganda. Yeah?
Wow.
So this is AI propaganda, political statements that have been made and produced. Obviously, one of the biggest sort of viral ones at the moment is Mr. Explosive, who's been doing lots of AI, and obviously POTUS as well. He's been dabbling in sort of the AI sort of propaganda side of things as well. So slopaganda, AI slop, absolutely 2026 word of the year for me. They're just great words to be to be invented. And they've been invented out of necessity, and I think that there's lots of people out there that, and this is what's really interesting for me about this topic, is there's lots of anti-AI. So I do consume a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of YouTube channels that are very much just like, in brackets, no AI, or they got little AI with a little red arrow, little red line through them, like no smoking. It's like no. So they're sort of like, there's lots of people out there that are proud that their content isn't AI, which I find interesting, because quite a lot of the AI that you and I have used, you would argue that perhaps it is of high standard, is of high quality. So what I don't fully understand, and maybe someone out there can call in and let us know, is what at this moment in time constitutes as AI slop, because the kind of images that we're seeing and the videos that are being generated, Gemini is now generating music tracks and things like this, and I don't see it anymore. I don't see the sloppiness of it. What does that mean? So that's what I want to dive into.
Wonderful. So there you go. So Joel's setting the question for the evening. What does AI slop mean to you? You can call us on 01733 602 133, or you can text the show on 07411 191 062. Before you do that, we're going to be heading towards a prayer break, and as soon as that is done, we'll be back with the rest of our show. But do tune in. Do stay tuned. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. We're live on www.salaamradio.co.uk. And we'd love for you to interact with our show, especially about this topic that we're discussing this evening, about AI slop. And as Joe mentioned, this could be anything from text messages, videos, etc. We're going to go into this much deeper. And then for the second half of the show, we'll also have that amazing event with Artemis 2. I can't wait to discuss that with you, Joel. So do stay tuned. Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. The numbers again, 01733 602 133, if you want to get involved with that. But we're coming to a prayer break.
You're listening to Salaam Radio, and it's now time for Maghrib Azan.
This Azan is sponsored by Children of Adam, changing lives in Peterborough and across the world since 2013.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
This dua is sponsored by Chicken Valley, flavour that rules the roost.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة وابعثه مقاما محمودا الذي وعدته. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم بك نحيا وبك نموت وإليك المصير رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor, live on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. I'm your host, Akil, with my co-host, recently defragged, completely plugged into the AI network, Joel. We were talking about AI Slop. So what's actually happening here? So AI tools can generate text, images, music, even video at scale instantly. With increasingly human-like quality, this is powered by models trained on vast datasets, learning patterns in language, visuals, and behavior. But here's the key point. AI doesn't think, it predicts. It's essentially very advanced pattern recognition, Joel.
It is. And it's not out there necessarily delivering this content without some sort of instruction or input or direction from a human brain.
Yeah.
At
the moment.
At the moment.
Yeah.
At the moment. Yeah. Check back in 5 years' time.
Yeah. It won't be me and Joel with two droids sat here.
Yeah, but I think that if you wind the clock back, every kind of technological advancement has always been met with a lot of skeptics around it. So if you think about music, for example, we grew up on the likes of the Prodigy and things like that, and Faithless, these big sort of dance bands, and they were sort of. There's a great line in one of Faithless's songs where he says, "I make no apologies for linking my thinking with computer technology," because their music was all electronic based. It was all coming from the computer. If you think back to 1990, Jurassic Park. That film was using state-of-the-art CGI, yeah? Why have I never heard the phrase CGI slop? Yeah, if you look at what then, fast forward a decade or so, and you look what Disney was doing with the likes of Pirates of the Caribbean and the CGI that was used in that film, they weren't actually, sailing around the Caribbean on massive pirate ships. It was all CGI, and yet, interestingly, there's not been a great deal of, this is CGI slop. I'd never go and watch another Disney film because all they do is they don't use real actors. They're just using CGI and all this kind of stuff. But if you replace the word CGI with AI, that's exactly what people are saying nowadays. Oh, don't like this picture because it's AI. I don't like this video. This is clearly AI slop. This is clearly AI generated and all this kind of stuff. But then you think, well, hang on a second. If you actually look at what images it's producing or what video it's producing, it's actually of extremely high quality because, again, someone has used their brain to guide that AI in a creative way, to put their creative thoughts, to use the phrase, down on paper, but in this case, obviously, with computers and things. So I find it fascinating, this kind of, this duality of man almost, where there's lots of people out there that are anti-AI creativity, but I have not really heard the same stuff about music that's made with computers, films that are made with computers, and those kind of things. So there we go.
Yeah, but surely one of the reasons for that, Joel, is because CGI is not in the hand of the common man. Right now, AI, it's on your phone. We've never had CGI in our hands, so we've never had a chance to do this mass experiment.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have had opportunities to do other things. So again, we've had the opportunity in our hands to do photoshopping.
Yes.
So think about touch up for models in magazines. Taking away blemishes.
Yeah.
Changing the face, putting someone's head on someone else's body using Photoshop. These are things that AI have been demonized for,
Yes,
for undressing people and creating fantasy scenes with people in, without their permission and things like that. But
which we've covered.
But again, that technology's been there through Photoshop over the years. So,
so what he says, I guess what you're asking is why do people criticize it, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's three main concerns. One is quality dilution. When the content, again, goes to what I was saying earlier, when the content becomes easy to produce, the internet gets flooded. So we know that's what's happened.
Yeah.
Because it's literally fun and it's free. In most cases, base one AI is literally free to use until you run out of credits. The kind, repetitive, low effort, no originality. Basically, if Joel ever became an algorithm, And the second one is authenticity. People ask, is this real creativity? I often hear that. I'm sure you've heard it before. But here's the twist. All creativity builds on what came before. AI just does it faster and more visibly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the third one is job displacement fears. Writers, designers, artists, many worry AI could replace them. And that concern is valid. Technology has always reshaped industries. Photography disrupted painting, digital music disrupted studios, streaming disrupted everything.
Yeah.
So taking on what you're saying, I'm asking myself a question now as well. Is when I see an AI image, like a poster someone's sharing for an event, I'm like, okay, that's been used for AI. Because I can see the lines and the way it's done and the way it's written. It's like, you can just see this has been done. It's fine. I don't actually have an issue with it. My problem is no one's actually checking the details. So you'll always find a word that's misspelt. And I'm like, yeah, okay, if you had just changed the prompt slightly or then gone back and said you need to fix this or whatever, you would have had a better poster right now. And surely that is leading to the, I guess, mistrust of AI slop, because people are like, oh, I can do this. So we'll still get, I mean, we both know that the models are becoming really, really good, but they still make mistakes. But people just share them. And do you think it's because we live in a monetized world on social media where you can get paid? So let's take X as an example. Other social media networks out there probably do the same, but for X, you can get paid for your posts depending on how many people interact with it, impressions you had in it, and so on. So when you go on X, there you do see AI images and lots of, like, especially writing messages, and it's over and over. So it's just got a different account, slightly different words, same thing. Do you think we are being driven as human beings because we want more money to use an AI model with little to no training, just basic prompts, and so we're pushing these things out? So, and when it's going out to the average Joe, and he's like, oh yeah, I don't like AI because it's just this, they never get to see the quality stuff.
There's a couple of good points there. There's two main topics there, I feel. So, there is massive money to be made in being an AI influencer. So this is where people will essentially run Instagram accounts and other social media accounts, generating AI images of women or men, super good looking, people appearing to have interesting lives, constantly sort of, putting pictures up on Instagram and things like that for clicks and likes and follows and things like that. And that actually does generate money for them. So what those kind of people are looking for, the AI influencer people, are looking for AI platforms that are consistently generating images of high quality that look like real people, that look like they're in real situations, and they are exceedingly difficult to tell the difference between that and a picture that I've taken.
Wow.
Yeah, and there's massive money in that, and these guys are generating upwards of 300 pictures a day, and they're running multiple accounts pretending to be, multiple personalities, basically. The second thing that you're talking about is something which we've mentioned before, and I'll continue to mention it, and that's dead internet theory, where you have a lot of bots on the internet, and it's bots talking to bots, and bots interacting with bots, and bots spreading misinformation and propaganda and things like that. And we've talked about echo chambers before in social media, which is a massive modern day problem. And what the bots do is, again, similar to what sort of these AI influencers are doing with their fake pictures, is the bots are driving engagement through sort of nefarious subjects or strong opinionated subjects, which gets people naturally riled up and want to interact with the accounts. And again, that generates revenue for the people that run those bots that's spreading misinformation and stuff. So the other thing that happens as well is and there are case studies where an AI has generated a news article, and other AIs have read that news article and sort of reproduced that news article and reproduced it, but because nobody has actually fact checked it, the incorrect facts have been replicated and duplicated through multiple news sites. So I totally get the argument that at that point, you're so those three things, AI influencers, dead internet theory, and also the replication and duplication of misinformation from generated articles, I would agree that, that is, AI slop, I suppose, at that point, and it is flooding the internet and driving hate and, driving just a split of, of social, etiquettes and things like that. So, yeah. Interesting stuff.
No, I agree with you, actually. I think it's the driver. I think in many cases you could say this is helping, it's fragmenting society further.
Yeah.
It's pushing people more into their echo chambers, their silos. But look, here's the reality check. AI is a tool, like a camera, like editing software, like the one app Joel insists on makes him more productive. The difference lies in how it's used. A skilled creator can prototype ideas instantly, explore multiple concepts quickly, focus more on direction and storytelling. So I think the real shift here, Joel, is that creativity is moving from execution to decision making.
Yeah, I think that it's also moving from expertise to generalization, general, and anyone can do it.
Yeah, so there's less about can you draw this, it's more about can you think of something worth drawing.
Yeah, and I think that, the examples that we gave earlier, why didn't I hear of CGI Slop? Why didn't I, hear of that kind of stuff? And again, it's because it wasn't just at everyone's fingertips 24/7. Yeah, so to use Photoshop back in the day, it was relatively expensive. It was a relative steep, there was a learning curve with it. It wasn't just a 5-minute thing to necessarily put someone else's head on another person's body and this kind of thing. It was many hours, but now those kind of things can be done almost instantaneously. So again, I get the point that it's driving, something completely different because you don't need the skill to do it. So I suppose that is a large element of it as well.
No, I agree. Okay. So, let's be honest. So some people equate effort with value.
Yeah.
If something takes longer, they assume it's better.
Well, not necessarily.
Which explains why Joel still does things the hard way, incorrectly. But no, in all seriousness, I'm with you, by the way, about something taking longer and assuming it's better. I think you'll agree with me as well, which is that AI isn't actually killing creativity. It's just lowering the barrier to entry.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that, I would probably class myself as a reasonably heavy user of it, but I'm doing, cooking recipes and things like that. I'm not.
As he says with a smile.
I'm not. I'm not the next person that's generating slopaganda.
So as I said, it's lowering barrier to entry, which means more voices, more ideas, and yes, more noise. The real skill now, it's knowing what's worth saying in the first place. I'd asked Joel for his thoughts, but I value clarity. But no, I think we're moving on, aren't we? We've gone through the cycle. And I guess it's different for you and I. We're in the tech space, so we understand about quality prompts and what we're trying to achieve. What's the end goal? How do we get to that end goal? But if you're not used to it, you're still learning it. You are going to be using basic commands, and to that end, I actually know a lot of people who've actually ditched Google, the search engine.
Mm-hmm.
They literally just go to ChatGPT and type it in.
Yeah, I think I'm there, but with Gemini.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting because now in your car, for example, you may have a car that it's not fully up to date. So but you've got a third party device which connects to your phone and allows you to have CarPlay or Android Auto. With Gemini on either of these devices, your car, which let's just say is, 10, 15 years old, has now got the capabilities because of AI to search for information, navigation, ask questions, weather, phone people, the whole lot.
Yeah.
On tap.
Yeah, it's absolutely in everything.
So I'll tell you what I've been doing, because obviously we've not been on for air for a while, Joel, yeah? I've been using Grok in my Tesla, right?
Oh, okay.
So obviously it's come over the update. It's fully, you connect to your car, and it has been superb.
Yeah.
Really, really accurate, not just about my journeys and sharing information about how long it's going to take here, what the range is going to be, when I may or may not need to charge, what the weather's going to be like, the conditions, but other things like, for example, finding out information about where my, a venue, or if I had my calendar connected to it, or say you've got this next thing coming up, and then also that. The other thing is, I can't believe I'm saying this on air, but I'm making less calls in my car. I'm spending more time talking to Grok.
Interesting.
So me and Grok have been having this conversation now for 3 months.
Yeah.
I get in the car, make sure it's on, and it's always on. You have to disable the microphone for it not to be listening to what you're saying. And I'm often in the car, I'm always asking questions of, and it's so advanced compared to having just... I've had BMWs where you'd ask a question and like, oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, yeah, this is very basic commands. I've got AI in the car, and it's really cool. And
after our upcoming upgrade, I will tell you a story about our smart home and what we've recently been doing there as well, which is very similar to the Grok story in the car. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this. So you're right. Coming up after the break, we leave Earth entirely. We are heading back to the moon as NASA prepares for Artemis 2. Stay with us live on Salaam Radio 106.2
Stay
FM.
tuned to Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
Imagine building a home in Jannah. You can make that happen right now, a reward worth every penny. The Peterborough Muslim Community Initiative, that's PMCI, urgently needs £350,000 to buy a disused pub and transform it into a place of iman, prayer and support. Please give generously to make this happen. Donate now at pmci.org.uk. You can also find us on Launch Good.
What do children at Bright Bambini Montessori Nursery say about us?
I love my teachers and friends.
At Bright Bambini Montessori, we sprinkle confidence, independence, and stir the love of learning. From 18 months to 5 years, free funded places available.
Come join in the fun.
Call Bright Bambini Montessori on Peterborough 306565 or visit bbmc.uk.
Could you spare a few hours each month to provide support to people who are going through tough times? If so, Peterborough Samaritans are looking for volunteers who are empathetic and open-minded, and we'd love to hear from you. We run regular information sessions where you can find out more about what it means to volunteer for Samaritans. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to know more, please email volunteer@peterboroughsamaritans.co.uk.
Already running a business but want to scale, boost profits, and free up more time for the things you love? The Progressive Business Network is where business owners, mentors, investors, and keynote speakers share real-world strategies for growth. Each month you'll gain practical advice, fresh ideas, and powerful connections to help you work smarter, not harder. Grow your profits, grow your network, grow your freedom. Join the Progressive Business Network. Visit progressivebusinessnetwork.co.uk today. Progressive Business Network. Learn, connect, scale.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor live on Salaam Radio 106.2 FM. I hope you're well, and I hope you didn't miss the first half of the show, but if you did, you can always catch us back on YouTube. You can get involved in the show. You can text on 07411 191 062, or you can call the show on 01733 602 133. I know I say this too quickly, don't I? I think I need some help. Do you have some software out there that can help me to slow me down? Now, from artificial intelligence to actual rocket science, and this is where things get serious. Artemis 2 is the first crewed mission in NASA's Artemis program. Unlike Apollo 11 moon landing, this mission won't land on the moon. Instead, it will send astronauts on a lunar flyby, the first time humans have travelled that far since the Apollo era.
Yes, I've got some cool record-breaking milestones. Are you ready to be hit up?
Oh, wait a second. Can I just say something to you? You know, when I heard about this, I was just thinking about that movie Transformers, Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we broke the news on this show as one of our cool stories.
Yep.
I said, I think it was before Christmas time, I said we're off back to the moon in February. There was a little bit of a delay. It's happened sort of in March, April time anyway. But yeah, the news has broken on this radio station,
which is fitting because Joel's explanations sometimes already feel like they're in another atmosphere.
And if you want to listen to any of our previous shows, they're all available on YouTube.
They are. Just search
and
for
all
the Tech
major
Factor.
podcast platforms.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Like and subscribe.
Yes. So yeah, go ahead.
So record-breaking milestones. Furthest distance from Earth. So on April 6, 2026, the crew reached a maximum distance of 252,756 miles from Earth. This officially broke the record set by Apollo 13 crew in 1970. So they were the furthest people to ever be away from Earth, the entire crew. The Speed Demon Space Launch System rocket generated 8.8 million pounds of thrust, making it the most powerful rocket ever to carry humans into space, surpassing the Saturn V 7.5 million pounds. So they are breaking records everywhere. That was one of the main reasons for this entire mission, was they were essentially testing new rocket technology for getting larger payloads up there, and with the ultimate idea of colonizing, I think, the moon. 50-year gap. There was the first time humans had traveled beyond the low Earth orbit since Apollo 17 mission in 1972. So it's taken us since 1972 to bother leaving Earth's orbit,
I'm just thinking,
which is incredible.
Which is incredible. I'm just thinking, right? So 252,000 miles. I'm pretty sure you described that like just a quick detour.
Yeah, and it also holds the record for one of the furthest remote IT support sessions as well.
Wow.
So there was a famous, one of the famous quotes of the flight was, something along the lines of, sort of paraphrases, "I've got 2 copies of Outlook and neither of them are working."
Wow.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And essentially what they did is they did actually do a remote control desktop from Earth to the spaceship
that's phenomenal.
to fix the spaceship's email.
That's phenomenal. All right, am I right in thinking as well? So that the loop around, it was using just lunar gravity.
Yes, yeah. So they were testing the concept of using that to propel and catapult further out into the solar system as well. So there's lots of things that they were sort of ticking off. So they didn't actually land this time. They just flew past. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this technology. So we've got the at the center is the Orion spacecraft. This is not your 1960s capsule. We're talking about advanced life support systems for deep space, radiation protection beyond Earth's magnetic field, autonomous navigation and onboard computing, and the SLS rocket. It produces more thrust, like Joe said, than Saturn used in the Apollo missions, like you said. This is currently the most powerful rocket ever built.
Ever built, absolutely. And so let's talk about the crew members. So the crew members were Christina Cox, Victor Glover, Jeremy Hansen, and Reed Wiseman, and each one of those pilots also had some records of their own personal records. So Christina became the first woman to fly beyond low Earth orbit and journey around the moon. So no woman had been that far or up to the moon until she's done it recently.
Wow.
Massive achievement. Victor became the first black astronaut to travel to the lunar vicinity as well.
Wow.
So he's absolutely blazing trails there as well. Jeremy was representing the Canadian Space Agency. He was the first non-American to ever leave Earth's orbit. So three... So
I could have gone.
Yeah. And this is the most... This next one, you just saying I could have gone. Reed, he is 50 years old during the mission. A 50-year-old man, and he became the oldest person to travel to the moon.
Joe's got all the stats tonight. What do you think about that? Drop us a text. Give us a comment on YouTube Live. We'd love to hear from you. Wow, Joel.
So just when you think you passed it, man's 50, he's going up to the moon as an astronaut. Couldn't believe it. I thought that was absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about why this mission matters. Actually, before I do that, I want to ask you a question, Joel.
Go.
If you were given the opportunity to have gone with them, would you have done it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have been just the most extraordinary experience that one could ever hope for, really.
Would you have co-hosted Tech Factor with me while you were up there?
We'd have done, yeah. So our record would have been radio broadcast from the furthest ever distance from Earth.
Fantastic. Brilliant. I was just checking. I like the idea of potentially doing something like this. But then I realised that if something went Pete Tong, I'd have what would I do then? Just cry about my outlook.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't, if anything had catastrophically happened, on takeoff, you wouldn't know about it. Oh, of course, of course.
Okay, so let's talk about why this mission matters. This isn't just symbolic. It's a test. Like Joel said, can humans survive deep space for extended periods? Can systems operate reliably far from Earth? Can we build a sustainable presence beyond orbit? Because the long-term goal isn't just the moon. It's Mars.
Yeah, I think so. They've got to put these data centers somewhere, haven't they? So we might as well off-planet them to satisfy our AI thirst and hunger.
Look, advanced systems, deep space navigation, human endurance. Honestly, more protection and planning than Joel has for his own opinions. Okay, so the human element. You mentioned the names. You've got 4 astronauts that were on board. And I have to say, they were not just truly far away from Earth, but you could see, I was watching some of the live feeds, Joel, the teamwork that they had between them, how they were supporting each other. And I was thinking they must have been with each other for a long period of time to build that relationship. Is it a year or longer than that where they have to be together?
That's a very good question, which I don't know the answer to. I don't know how long the training lasts.
It's quite a long time.
I imagine it would be, and they have trained and drilled, to within an inch of their life within, models of, the ship, which is called Integrity. They would have trained in a model of Integrity, morning, noon, and night almost. And they would have gone through every single type of scenario. Yeah, absolutely.
There was a picture that I saw when it was initially leaving Earth's orbit, and they were all sat really close to each other, and I just thought, yeah, that's super claustrophobic for me. But nevertheless, they're going somewhere, and of course, eventually, when the rockets came off and all the rest of it, you could see them. What went through my mind was looking back at Earth as a human being so far out. How would that feel?
Yeah, some of their pictures were absolutely incredible.
Do you know they've taken the most high-def picture ever of Earth?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was, I think, it was on an iPhone.
Yeah, Earthrise. Yeah, literally just through the window.
Yeah, it was from an iPhone. yeah. 17 Pro Max, just anyway. I know I've got S26 Ultra, so I just thought I'd show that. Anyway, but no, they didn't. They surprised me, in a pleasant way, and I think this is again humans pushing the boundary. They clearly made this tech for a long time and needed to be tested. There's lots of money behind it, and
4 billion, I think it was.
Pocket change for you, Joel.
Yeah, I think 4.1 billion mission. Yeah. So it wasn't. It wasn't exactly what you find down the back of your sofa, but 4.1 billion. But I think it's what makes America. It's what makes the world great, is doing stuff like this.
I agree.
It's just so inspirational.
I agree.
And the fact that it's taken us another 50 years to do it. I get that. Your man Musk has been with SpaceX and stuff. He's been doing incredible things with sending rockets. And returning them to be reused and all that kind of stuff, which again is incredible stuff. And then NASA just rocks up and is like, "Oh, we're going to the other side of the moon and back."
I don't think it was that simple, but okay. I'm not going to say anything. Don't get accused of being on Muskie's side. Anyway, so Artemis 2 represents a shift. We are no longer just visiting space. We are preparing to operate in it. And if this works, it opens the door to a permanent human presence beyond Earth.
Beyond. Wow.
Okay, it's that time of the evening. We're heading towards cool tech stories. Time for some of the biggest stories right now. So I'll kick off, Joel. Kindle backlash. Amazon is ending support for some older Kindle devices.
Boo-hoo.
That means loss of certain features, reduced connectivity, devices becoming partially obsolete, and users are not happy because it raises a bigger issue. Do we actually own our tech? Or are we just renting it until support runs out? Which is tough, especially since Joel just figured out how to turn this on.
Boo-hoo-hoo.
Here's the thing, right?
They can still read their books, apparently, though.
They can, but they can only read the books in the library that they've currently got, not new ones they're going to download.
Yeah.
See, here's how I see it. Because, obviously, early adopters and so on, tech moves on.
Yeah, I'm afraid.
And if it's from 10, 12 years ago...
I'm afraid my cup of care is very empty for the people that are complaining about it. I'm really sorry. It's what happens.
It's what happens. It's true. And, you've had 12 years out of it or whatever it is, and it's still going great.
Yeah.
But you know what? Tech's moved on. Software's moved on. Security patches have moved on.
You can read the books that you've purchased on that device. All right, you've got to buy a new device to read new books, but all those old books will transfer to your new device. Yeah.
He doesn't care, but what I will say is
I'm afraid not.
From what I read, though, if you reset the device, it's bricked.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not making me care anymore. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to.
It's like you saying that for me to
No,
I'm sorry.
I am not trying to. I still remember when I shared this article with you and you was like boo all the way. I was like, I'm definitely bringing that. Okay, over to you, young man.
So we'll stick with Amazon for now. So recently I've just done loads of smart home upgrades, loads of bulbs and stuff has gone in. And recently we've just upgraded to Alexa Plus. And Alexa Plus has recently just launched in the UK. 15th of March, I think it was. So reasonably recently. And various people are being invited to join at the moment as part of you have to be part of Prime member anyway. And if you're a Prime member, you're being invited to sort of, upgrade to the Alexa Plus. And what it basically is Amazon, you talking about Grok just before the break, in your car. And it's basically an LLM, but is Alexa. So instead of her being, a bit dumb and only responding to certain phrases and not being able to hold conversation and follow real conversation, the old one, again, a bit like the old cars you talked about in the in-car tech, they would only respond to certain commands in certain ways. And if you said anything outside of that, oh, sorry, I don't understand what you mean. So what's been quite interesting with that, though, is quite a lot of our voice commands that we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute the word Alexa for Kevin. So when we're talking about Alexa in our house, we call it Kevin because obviously you say the trigger word, yeah, she starts listening, and then anyway. So what we'd say with all of our smart tech that we got in our house, we'd say things like, Kevin, cooking time, and then cooking time would be the kitchen lights come on, and various other things would happen, sort of thing. But when we upgraded to Alexa Plus, we would say, Kevin, kitchen, cooking time, and she'd go off and about, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. How about I get some recipes for you? And it was like show you recipes on the show and all this kind of stuff. So what we have to do, so it wasn't just that, it was quite a lot of other voice rules stopped working or didn't work how we wanted to, or she'd go off on this massive tangent about a whole load of stuff we didn't care about. We just wanted the lights on in a certain way. So what we've had to do is we've had to change it to different trigger words. So a couple of the ones that I've got now is I say, Kevin, activate cooking protocol. Yeah. And then I've got things like, Kevin, bedtime protocol, and because you were putting different words in, like the word protocol or the word activate and then protocol and stuff like that, it doesn't go off on this mad random tangent. But I thought it was quite funny because it does sound a lot more military when I'm just like, activate cooking protocol. She's just like, of course, here we go, lights turn on and away we go. So but other than that, and unlike yourself, we've not really spoken to it. We only just get it to turn our lights on and off.
Wow, I think you're missing a trick.
Go on.
No, I'm just thinking you're missing a trick by not talking to her.
Yeah, we should do. Perhaps we should do, because it is meant to be like full on, voice interaction like you've got in your car at the moment. Wow. With Grok and stuff. So,
okay, right. I've got the next story, which is Google's upgrade push. Google is offering a potential upgrade path affecting around 500 million users. The idea is shift towards lightweight cloud-based systems, extend the life of older machines, reduce reliance on heavy operating systems. In simple terms, your slow laptop might get a second chance. Joel's still emotionally attached to his from 2008, so this is big news. So essentially, if you've got a Windows device that's no longer supported, or XYZ, you can now actually install Google's operating system on there.
But not Kindle.
But not Kindle.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but this is good. This is good for people who've still got a really good machine in terms of spec. But, you can't use Windows 11 as an example, right?
Yeah, is that because the Chromium operating system's basically like Android with a cursor and, works with a mouse and keyboard, sort of, has a taskbar and looks more traditionally like Windows than an Android operating system does. So I'd imagine that, it's probably very suitable in turning them all into Chromebooks.
Correct. That's essentially what it is, and I think it's very smart.
Yeah, good move for Google. Again, gets more people using their cloud.
Correct.
Yeah, which is good for them. So, with your data and things like that. So, staying on the theme of smart homes and things like that, there is a new standard out, reasonably new. It's called Matter.
Oh yeah.
So this is what this is kind of like poised to replace like Zigbee and that kind of thing. Faster, better, more reliable, etc., etc. Now I've got sort of over 50 smart devices in my house. My lights work like 60% of the time they work, or so this is something called spatial multi-sensors, which is coming to Matter. This is from this is a sensor that uses microwave radar, and these gadgets can detect if someone is not just in the room but their exact posture. So if it was in an elderly person's home and that elderly person had fallen, it can detect that elderly person is lying down on the ground, and then it can then do something else, and it can send out an SOS or whatever it needs to do. And the reason it's cool is because it can start doing that kind of thing without invasive cameras. So then you can start putting it in more personal spaces, like bathrooms where you can slip and fall over and all those kind of things, or like in bedrooms again, where you may not get out of bed if you've got a problem and these kind of things. So I thought that was quite cool that there is microwave radar technology that's going to be used in the home to potentially help people that do live by themselves and are maybe elderly or have other disabilities and things.
That's really cool. There is a device, I can't remember the name of it right now, but Apple sell it. and it's like a detector that works where it can accurately pick up if somebody's in a room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it won't do the next level, which is what you said, where if somebody's fallen down, but it can accurately tell you there's a human in this room.
Yeah. So we use like basic sort of PIR motion sensor things in our house to do various things to trigger things on and off and stuff like that. But the Apple device and this one just takes it to that next level.
Yeah. And again, the other difference as well is something which you may expect in a business environment is now actually coming to your home, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got Dyson's high-speed fan. Dyson has announced, this is crazy, Joel. Dyson has announced a handheld fan, I must repeat, with a motor spinning at 65,000 RPM.
Wow. Is it bladeless?
Right.
Like their stand-up one?
Yeah, we're walking around one of those. So this thing's incredibly fast. We're talking high-efficiency airflow, compact but powerful engineering, precision motor design. That's not a fan. And that's what happens when Joel tries to explain something quickly. But the thing is, I as a handheld device, having that much power, wow. So here in the studio, we've got a electric air compressor,
which I immediately bought the day after you showed me it.
That is one of the coolest devices.
Yeah.
But they're so powerful.
Yeah.
Right?
I use it all the time for things.
There you go. My mate told me he's bought one after I told him. So what he does is he washes his car, and once it's done, he just uses that, gets the water off.
Really?
Yeah. Because I just go around the car doing all the water's off. I'm like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
And often when I share this with people, let's just say my female friends will say to me, yeah, this is such a bloke thing to do. But I don't think so. I think they just haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, the fact that you've shown two men, and they've both gone out and bought one. I use it for all sorts of things. Mainly cleaning out of filters, cleaning out of laptops. Things that you can't necessarily use a brush on or whatever. You can just because of static or whatever, you could just sort of use one of those and it's
brilliant.
Yep,
it's brilliant. Okay, over to you.
So solid state battery prototype reaches 1,000-kilometer range.
Whoa.
Automotive industry has shifted towards a software defined. Hang on. Oh yeah. Software defined. Marks the first real pilot testing of solid state batteries in a production level prototype, promising a 15-minute charge and 1,000 kilometers. So it's happening.
It was coming, wasn't it? It was coming.
It's happening.
How awesome is that?
It is pretty good because I for me it's still a major blocker for going with some sort of electric car for through and through. But 15 minutes, it's coming down. Going to get there. It's
getting there, of course. Okay, so mine is the big picture trend. Across all these stories, there's a pattern. Technology is evolving faster than ever. Product life cycles are getting shorter. Companies are shifting towards ecosystems, not ownership, which means as users, we need to be more aware, more informed, and more selective. Because tech isn't just something we use anymore. It's something we rely on. Somewhere, Joel is nodding and also misunderstanding.
Do you want another one?
Yes, please.
I've got another car one. A couple of cool car things have been happening. So this is AI-driven digital twins. So again, automakers are now using AI to create digital twins. So this is virtual replicas of every car and factory. And this allows them to simulate millions of tests per kilometres in virtual environments before a single physical part is manufactured, significantly accelerating the safety and deployment of level 3 autonomous driving.
That's phenomenal.
So I think now, up to this point, what they've been doing is prototyping and then sticking it out into a massive car park somewhere with cones and stuff and getting it to navigate and learn from that, and also sticking them in real world situations in the streets and stuff. But what they're doing instead is essentially digitalizing all of that and basically then using the data from that, to create better algorithms for their autonomously driven vehicles and stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I did see, I think it was last week, it was that Tesla's full self-driving capability has been activated in the Netherlands.
Oh, really?
Saw some videos and people were showing it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, but once again, kind of our beta testing it in the public domain.
Correct.
Just like everything else that we've sort of talked about today. So
this is true. Have we got one more?
Yeah, sure. So this is a data breach. So I've got cybersecurity one here. New data breach for Booking.com has led to the exposure of customer reservation data. While the company has not confirmed the full scale, users are being forced to reset their reservation pins as a precaution against the account takeover. So if you are a Booking.com user and you've used it recently, it's probably worth having a look at that in a bit more detail and potentially changing your password and taking some other precautions as well.
Wow. That is worrying. Okay, thanks for that, Joel. I can't believe what I'm about to say to you right now. We are heading towards the end of our show. It's flown by, honestly. But it's so good to be back. I really enjoyed your company, Joel. Thank you for that. Thank you for you listening wherever you may be. That's it. That's all tonight for the Tech Factor. We've covered AI, space exploration, and the rapid pace of modern technology. Joel is still processing the first topic. We wish him well. And if you want to get involved in future shows, just find us on YouTube. Thanks for listening.
Stay tuned to
Goodbye.
Salaam Radio after this short ad break.
2020 World Buffet is inspired by the best foods from around the world. See